95% content creators who are in finance don't deserve to be on internet because they themselves don't have that kind of experience. When I see a 22, 25-year-old giving life advice on money, it scares the hell out of me. Until and unless you've been a part of too crash and too high, you should not give financial advice. Because भाई तुम्हारा पैसा जला है क्या? जब तक तुम्हारा पैसा नहीं जला है, तुम कैसे एडवाइस दे सकते हो? तुम कैसे प्रेडिक्ट कर रहे हो भाई? जब तुम्हारा खुद का पैसा जला होगा और वो जले हुए राख से तुमने कुछ और बनाया, तब मेरे को ज्ञान, ऐसे मेरे को ज्ञान नहीं। आई एम वेरी क्लियर अबाउट इट।
India is in the middle of a creator boom. The scale is real. Influencer marketing in India was pegged at 2,344 crores in 2024, and it's projected to reach 3,375 crores by 2026. India has more than 4 million influencers today, up from under a million in 2020. Creators already shape over $350 billion of what people buy, and that influence could top $1 trillion by 2030. But money content is not like comedy or fashion. Finance is tightly watched. Regulators have warned against unregistered advice and asked regulated firms to steer clear of unregistered finfluencers, which is why we are speaking with Manish Pandey today. Manish is the coach behind some of India's most durable creator careers, the co-author of Booming Digital Stars, and one of the few people who understands both the craft and the compliance. If there's one voice to map how to build a real long-term career or a creator business in money content while staying on the right side of the rule book, it is his. In this conversation with Manish Pandey, we will be keeping one eye on the business and one on the rule book. How creators actually earn, what brands expect, how to stay compliant, and how investors can distinguish between signal and noise. The aim is practical guardrails for creators and a simple, helpful checklist for investors at the end. Hi, Manish. Thanks so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to ask you right off the bat. There are a lot of youngsters I see who had this ambition of becoming a creator. And I guess it's understandable, right? When you see social media and you see that glorified life of a creator, you think that, listen, this looks so easy and, I think I'd be able to do it. But let's get a reality check from you because you obviously have a lot of these youngsters probably coming to you to consult with you. So give all of these people a reality check. How easy, difficult is it to become a creator and actually monetize it?
It's easy to pick up a camera and start rolling if you are a confident person. It's great. However, when it comes to monetization, let me be very, very clear with you. Only 2 to 5 content creators out of 100 would make some sizable income, which you can call it like income and depend on that money for you to continue with your livelihood. Only 2 to 5 content creators out of 100. That's reality. Yeah.
So if today a young creator comes to you and says that, listen, I want to turn this into a steady living. Of course, I don't want to cross any lines. What would be first 3 steps off the top of your head? What would you tell them?
So I always have this practice of asking the person, hey, do you have the luxury to invest 3 years without earning anything and say that your family can support you or you already have that money which can support you? If they say yes, then I say that do it full time and here are steps to do it. If not, I say, hey, take a job, keep a job, do it on the side, do it on weekends. And the day you start making 2x of what you make from your regular job, that day you come and start doing it full time. Content creation is an individual job. So it is like starting a startup. It is like entrepreneurship. Here, from day one, you will have to pay somebody else. Like you may have to pay a script writer, you may have to pay a video editor, or at least you may have to take a subscription of an AI tool. Even that will cost you somewhere between $5 to $20 a month. So there is expense from day one. So if you have that money, why not? You can monetize it in even 6 months to maximum 2 years. And if you are not able to monetize after 2 years, this is not something that you should do. Find something else to do.
Okay, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritties of actually being able to earn money from,
Content.
from content. Exactly. So one way, of course, is, you sign a brand deal, but then you also have these one-off ads, you have communities, subscriptions, all of these different ways that social media platforms, of course, offer you. I'd like to get from you a sense of what mix of all of these different revenue sources helps a creator create steady cash flows for himself or herself.
The whole creator economy is only 10 or 12 year old. However, we still have traditional way of saying things and new way of saying things. So in traditional way of saying things, the most stable way of making money is by YouTube monetization, which is your YouTube AdSense coming to you based on how many number of views you generate and all of that. So that is, if I go technical into it, it's called pay per mark in India. You are given a certain amount of money for per 1,000 views you do, right? So let us say if you are doing content in regional language or Hindi, your pay could be from anywhere between 40 rupees to 100 rupees. And if you do content in English, your pay could go from 100 rupees to even 350. I have seen upwards of 460 also, which is per 1,000 view, right? So that is the safest way of making money. Now, over the top of it, yes, as you said, there are brand deals, there are brand endorsements. Then, now you see content creators also attempting to launch their own brands, launch their own merchandise, launch their own courses, launch different kind of things. There are examples of content creators who've been in content for 8-9 years now. Some of them are into FMCG, some are into retail, merchandising. Some of them have also started healthcare brands. Some of them have started, say, fitness brand and stuff like that. So they have built a brand which kind of resonates with their content so that it is easy to monetize the community.
To cross-sell also.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you said, brand deals come along once in a while, but then YouTube is something that will give you that more steady cash flow. So if you would want to prefer something in terms of something that will also give a fair structure to both sides. So the content creator as well as the brand. Per video, monthly retainer, base plus performance, what works best?
If it depends on the content format also, right? Let us say if you're doing a commentary, say you are clubbing something like what happened last week, and you're doing a news kind of a thing, right? Then weekly, if you can do a 15-minute wrap up kind of a thing, works great. If you are an entertainer, then obviously it is not very easy to turn around entertainment videos per week. So if you can turn around one in 15 days or at least one in a month, again, it's great because entertainment would get more views than what non-entertainment videos would get, right? Say if you are a finance content creator, and in that also, if you can create a calendar which allows you to give weekly videos, that helps. Again, tech, you have a lot of options. Tech content creators do make a lot of money. The per 1,000 view remuneration also is higher in tech.
Also, it also depends on the sector you are.
It depends on sector. It depends on genre. It depends on what percentage of men, women watching. Where is your content being watched from?
Let's say young, fresh creator comes to you, maybe been at it for a couple of weeks and says that, listen, how do I earn my first 1,000 rupees, even if to begin with? So what would you advise them to do and why that route?
Okay. I always say that do you have an appetite to put 100 videos and not ask me any question? If yes, I will talk to you. Else, I will not talk to you. It's because, you will take at least 100 video to crack your first money. So we have to consider an average. An average is a brand, whenever they are coming to your, content portfolio, that means your handle or your page, they will see the number of videos you have done. They will see the engagement ratio. They will see that, what is your connect with your audience, right? That means if you are saying something, you are able to influence some people of some criteria. Then only a brand will come and give you money, right? So that is why I always say, यदि 100 वीडियो बनाने की क्षमता, ताकत और patience hai, then let's talk. Then I'm gonna say, okay, what is your genre? How are you doing? Okay, give me the script of your first video. How are you planning it? Then I will go into details of creating a hook, creating a retention thing, and then creating a closure. Then you get into those technical things and you say that, okay, this works.
All right. Now we're going to zero in our focus on financial content creators. Last couple of years, we've obviously seen a big surge over there. In many ways, it's a good thing also because they're spreading financial literacy. But then, of course, everything has its negatives as well. And we have really seen some notorious information and misinformation being spread. So we want to just set the record straight over here. Firstly, for all creators, some kind of topics go into explanation, like, what is a mutual fund or what is redemption or whatever the topic is. And then some of them delve into the category of advice, that this is how you should create a portfolio. This is what you should do, what you should avoid. And many a times we've seen creators are not being able to distinguish between the two. Invariably, they kind of merge the two and just create a content. How should, we distinguish, and when does an explainer become an advice? If you could just guide us in simple words.
Yeah. So this is, as you said, it's like a very, very dicey, position to be in, right? Like you're explaining about, oh, you should start an SIP, for example, right? Or you should start a mutual fund. And wo kehte which mutual fund to buy. When you come which mutual fund to buy, there is where you are crossing the line, right? So, that is why I say that I have always been vocal about it, that if you are following a content creator who is in finance, always check their experience, the year of experience they have in financial world, right? They should, like a 18-year-old person who got his PAN card or her PAN card, last week, should not tell me what I should do with my money, right? So, it is on viewers also, it is on consumers also, that you should check the credibility of person who's giving you that information, right?
Their registration.
Their registrations. Like, I think there is an exam also that you have to give, right? Even to be a mutual fund distributor, there is a certification or something. Even for you to be an advisor, you need to be SEBI registered at least, right? For you to give some kind of advice. So one should check for it, right? So people should be cautious because, and content creators should also, अपने आस्तीन में उनको झांकना चाहिए कि what are they saying. They cannot just say anything for views and because they've got some brand to promote in it and stuff like that. So one has to be very, very careful. However, I think the 90% onus I'll still put it on viewers is because you are consuming it. Please spend 5 minutes in researching who you are listening to and be very, very careful of what you are taking it from there, because you are going to put your hard-earned money, in market, and it is not. Otherwise, what happens is you will put money, and if it goes down, your faith from the entire financial world will go away, and you will say, "अरे ये तो सब लूटते हैं, right? पैसे डालो कम हो जाता है, right?" So you need to be very careful. And again, word of caution for content creators also: please be very careful, because today SEBI and other government bodies which are need to keep an eye on all of these are very, very vigilant, and they will come cracking on you, and they should, right?
You mentioned that you put 1,000 rupees and it goes down, then of course your faith in the market or whatever it is shaken. But it actually becomes worse when it goes up, because you've relied on information that is kind of sketchy. You've gotten confident because you wanted the money. You may think that you want to put in more, and then if it goes down, gosh, it's going to really hurt, So even the other scenario where it goes up is probably more dangerous, honestly. So again, keeping it on the creator side, let's say if a BFSI brand does come to a creator to make a post for whatever it is, what should appear on the screen or in the caption, as we call it, in any BFSI post to ensure that it is safe or it is compliant with the regulators, governance framework?
I think the company, the BFSI company, should be very, very clear in terms of the terms and conditions that they have to write with that particular post. Even if it is a video, what are you writing in your description, or what are you putting in your caption, right? You should be very, very clear that, hey, listen, this is mandatory and you have to put the way it is, right? Like how we hear that, investment in mutual fund is subject to market risk, and there is long kind of a hole, and they say it in a speed, but
Not anymore.
not anymore. That's great then, otherwise, or else, terms and conditions are written in that whole ant font which you cannot read and you need a magnifying glass. That should not be a scenario anymore, I guess. It should be very crystal clear, and it should always say that, hey, this is only information's sake, and this is not an investment advice, right? So that has to be extremely clear. And I'm sure that all the companies today are watching this, all the companies are ensuring. And if a content creator comes and says, no, listen, let me be creative, I don't think they are going to entertain anymore. And they will say, no, dude, you can be entertainer, whatever, you can say the story however you want, but these 5 points you will have to say verbatim, or you will have to put it in your commentary, or you will have to put it in your comment section or your caption. So I think that helps.
So, is there any like a due diligence checklist of what to do and what not to do, so that both, even the brand as well as the creator, would stay out of trouble?
Yeah, I mean, there are there are unsaid regulations, and there are unsaid checks which happen nowadays, right? And even content creator now understand that if they want to get a brand and get money out of it, they will have to adhere to a few things. So that has come. So the friction isn't there anymore, and I'm seeing that brands, at least the financial product brands, have become very careful in choosing content creators, right? And they are also asking not only about the number of views and engagement, but they are also asking for their background, if they come from a financial background. So, for example, I have seen a lot of CAs become content creators, or people who have cleared exams like CFA, CFP, and there are a lot of people, a lot of finance content creators. They say this, hey, I'm a SEBI registered, or I have cleared this exam. So they also put a disclaimer.
So if you were, let's say, seeing a reel, a video, whatever, and it's in the domain of finance, what would be your telltale signs that, look, listen, I think I should take this with a pinch of salt, or I should just scroll along? Like, what would you look at to think that there's something wrong with this?
That's a great question. First, I always say that, okay, what's the credibility of this human who's saying this? What is their background? Do they have a study, or are they just reading a script? Another, always cross check the same information at 3 or 4 places.
Okay.
Very important. Check that, okay, so say let us say that something is trending. Let us say the rates of gold and silver, which is happening today, right, is going up, down, going up. There is a lot of sound that, oh, there is 200% rise and this and that, right? So if I hear a content creator saying, hey, today is the right time of investing in gold, and 5 years this will become this much, right? I'm gonna say that, okay, are 5-6 content creators saying the same thing? Are all these 5-6 credible? Do I really know them? Have I built a trust with them? If yes, then I may decide to follow their advice or whatever I've learned from the content. It's not on them, or it's not on SEBI or RBI or anybody for that matter, right? So always check credibility, and always check this person, how many years this person has been creating content for finance. So that is my quality check.
Yeah. So if a creator, let's say, wants to give advice, and let's assume that they have the educational background and the right certifications, etc., as well, what are the clean pathways to operate under SEBI's rules, and what changes day to day once you are registered also?
So again, check on the credibility, that how many videos have they put, how much effort have they put, what is their story, what has been their track record with their previous assumptions or trends that they have explained, right? Also for content creators, that be very, very sure that don't say things which will garner you more views, because it can also put you in problem. And when you put you in problem, everything, your shop may shut, and that would be your 5-6 years of hard work, right? And then again, for you to build trust in the on internet with same people is going to be tough again. I think both consumers and content creators will have to be careful here.
So let's say I'm a creator. I've got all my certifications. Again, that let's assume that's a given that I'm registered investment advisor, etc. And I have put out a reel, and it's been construed as a advice, a promise of returns, etc. And these things tend to go viral because the audience as well is looking for things like this. That oh, if someone's giving me something, it's very tempting. It's wrong, but it is tempting. What should be the course of correction that the creator should take?
So creators should always be very clear with the disclaimers in the video, whether it is short form or a long form. Another, they need to ask themselves this question that, hey, is this an advice or is this information? And try to be in the information lane as much as you can, and don't go into that advisory lane, because that will put you in problem anyways, right? So it is a conscious call. End of the day, it is a content creator's conscious call. Today it is out there laid very clearly that, hey, these are things to do and these are things not to do. So why are you wanting to enter into things not to do? That may get you views, as I said, but again, it will put you in problem.
But do you think then the creator should take down that reel, which has sort of gone? What should they do next?
So, for example, let us say they put a reel and the community called them out, saying that, hey, this is wrong, you should not do. Yes, as a content creator, you should take it down, archive, or put a updated one saying, I was wrong there and I shouldn't have said that. And that's how you build a trust also. Like, for example, I have seen a few content creators, they, backed a crypto exchange and said that, hey, I'm going to put my money here and I'm going to invest my money in crypto through this exchange, and say after 6 months that exchange was a scam or it tanked. There are content creators who've come on the video and said that मेरे से गलती हो गई.
Like a corrigend.
Yes.
That I'm sorry.
Yeah. कि मेरे भी इतने पैसे गए, मेरे से भी गलती हो गई और मेरे वजह से आप लोगों ने किया, तो I want to be extremely, apologetic for it and I'm sorry. It is the whole world of content creation and promotion through content is very naive and new right now, right? I think in due time, by 2030, we will be in that place that, there will be some doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani, and there still will be some gray area, right? So I think it will be the course of time.
For a creator, the other problem is this whole thing of impersonation. I think many of the creators you work with invariably have like fake accounts propping up, and then the creator has to say, oh, listen, this is fake, and don't follow them. I myself have seen a lot of financial advisors as well.
With AI, it's becoming
accounts.
Worse.
Yeah. So how do you protect your audience and, your name? Because at the end of the day, they are taking your name and, luring people, DMing people that, hey, listen, are you investing in XYZ or, whatever it is?
Yeah. So one of the very clear ways of doing it is I always ask content creators to get a verification done on their badge, like on their profile. Today, Meta has made it very easy. You can just pay a certain amount of money and you can get that blue check, right? Which is subscription based, right? So a fake profile will not take that much effort to get a verification one done. Internet is a very nice place. The moment something fishy happens, it gets flagged also that quickly. So the moment it gets flagged and it comes to you, it becomes your responsibility to ensure you tell your community that if you get any DM from this ID with this photo, that's not me, and please don't reply to it. You may be at risk. So you need to take that onus and put it out there. Again, for consumers, it is extremely, extremely important that don't be in a hurry. Take a pause. See if it is the same content creator that you follow, or if it is a fake account, or if it is a somebody is impersonifying them and then doing it. Is it an AI bot that's trying to do it, right? And then as a follower, fan, or a consumer, put it out to your content creator in their DM, in their email, that, hey, listen, I got this and I understand it's not you. However, it would be great if you can put it out on public and flag it off. And then also the platforms have made it easy SOP now. So the moment you understand that it's somebody's trying to be you and it's not you, there is a way to report it. There is a way to kind of block it. There is a way to write an email to the help center of the platform, be it Meta, be it Google, which is YouTube, right? and they take care of it. They ensure that they block the ID and they block the, even the IP address from which it is made, and then safeguard can be done. But yes, in saying all of these, people do act in desperation sometimes, and the financial scams and frauds are at its all-time high.
Yes. And in a way, this is also a cybercrime, and not a day goes by, honestly, when we open the newspaper and there's not a mention, of any sort of fraudulent misrepresentation, money gone away from someone's accounts, etc. So one has to be so careful.
90% of our listeners will not relate with you when you said open the newspaper.
Maybe not, yeah. Or open your news
phone.
news portals or whatever, yeah. I'm still old school that way. So if I have to give you a 30-second test, if I have to put you to a 30-second test, when you are scrolling any video, in the first 30 seconds, while watching the video, what would make you decide this is fake and move on?
I decide in 5 seconds, not in...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what is the telltale sign in 5 seconds?
Intonation, how they start, how they are trying to hook me in the video, what kind of statements are they making.
What would be a statement that would make you scroll down?
इस वीडियो में आपकी लाइफ बदल जाएगी.
Okay.
मेरे को नहीं बदलनी लाइफ. चल तू आगे.
Nothing sensational. All right, I understand.
ये एडवाइस आपको चाहिए. I'm like, मेरे को नहीं चाहिए.
Okay, but that's actually a great, cue, because most videos that I watch actually start with that. All right, okay. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and you have to reply in market language to me, but it's also all social media
That's
content.
tough for me,
okay?
but yeah, okay, cool. I'll try.
One trend you would go long on, one you would short, and one trend you would hold.
So I always believe in holding. Personally, right? I always invest from a long term and hold kind of a person. So yeah, long form content.
Long form
Not
you would hold.
reels, not shorts.
So anything you would short, you don't short anything.
I don't short anything. Like I don't get into it. Yeah.
All right, okay. A magic delete button for the internet. One thing about finance content you'd want to erase forever, and why?
All content creators.
Really?
Yes.
You don't think that financial content...
95, if not 99% content creators are actually creating confusion.
Wow, okay. That's a very big statement.
It is a big statement. I'm making it with a lot of responsibility here. 95% content creators who are in finance don't deserve to be on internet because they themselves don't have that kind of experience, what they are sharing. When I see a 22, 25-year-old giving life advice on money, it scares the hell out of me. I think I have a clear understanding, right? And in the world of finance, there are highs and there are lows. Until and unless you've been a part of too crash and too high, you should not give financial advice. Because भाई तुम्हारा पैसा जला है क्या? जब तक तुम्हारा पैसा नहीं जला है, तुम कैसे एडवाइस दे सकते हो? तुम कैसे प्रेडिक्ट कर रहे हो भाई? जब तुम्हारा खुद का पैसा जला होगा और वो जले हुए राख से तुमने कुछ और बनाया, तब मेरे को ज्ञान मत दो. I'm very clear about it. Like personally, this is my personal opinion. So because you asked the delete button,
Yes.
I would delete all the finance.
All finance content. Okay,
I
all
would.
right.
I mean, call me out, but yeah, I would.
No, that's your opinion. Yeah, sure. Okay. If comments were a market, what is a bull comment you trust, a bear comment you would ignore?
Invest and forget. That is a great comment. Yeah. Invest and even delete the app. That whatever app you installed, delete that.
Okay, you're a long-term investor. Okay. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the session. We have learned so much. I mean, Manish, I think it's a wealth of information for all three, for the creators, for brands, but also most importantly for the audience who are consuming this content. And you made some remarkable comments, Manish, about firstly, the comment that, you sort of delete all financial content creators tells you volumes and tells the audience as well volumes that they need to go to a qualified financial advisor, a registered investment advisor, meet with them in person, explain their goals, their risk appetites, etc., and only then take any kind of financial decision. Also, the fact that, there are so many red flags that are sometimes so easily visible that as a viewer, it is your responsibility to be able to track those red flags. And Manish, with you sharing them, I hope that viewers as well will be able to understand their responsibility more thoroughly. So thanks so much once again, Manish, for joining us.
Again, I want to repeat this again. don't blame the content creator. You as a content consumer will have to be extremely careful, have to check things thoroughly, have to re-verify it, not just verify but re-verify it, because even if it is 1 rupee that you are investing, it's your hard-earned money. Don't play with it. Simple.
All right. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Manish, once again.
Thank you.
Remember, only creators who follow the rule book deserve your trust. And here are simple 30-second rules that you should also look for when you're watching a video. Number 1, no sure short return promises or guarantees. Avoid any kind of WhatsApp tips, VIP tips, or Telegram groups. Number 2, disclosures are extremely important. Is a post sponsored? Are the risks cited? Are the sources mentioned? Etc. Number 3, what exactly is this? Is it information or is it advice? If it's advice, are SEBI registrations procured? Number 4, don't click on any links that are unverified. Always go through the official brand website. No QR codes or Google Forms. And finally, if it does not suit your risk appetite or goal, scroll on. Remember that creators who are building real businesses will respect these guardrails. Fly-by-night ones won't. And always remember to stick to your asset allocation or SIP plan and consult a registered investment advisor when needed. That way, you'll be able to enjoy the upside of the creator economy and avoid any unnecessary and unwarranted risks. Thank you so much for watching.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.